Hello, welcome to part 2 of painting our Republic ATRT. If you remember last week, we finished painting our ATRT Rider, and now this week we're going to be painting his ATRT. So if you remember last week, I said that I wanted to prime this guy black. And I did, but what I also did was let me just grab all the weapons for this thing. After I primed it, I got a gray spray bottle, and then I just held the model like this, like flat, and then from like a 45-degree angle, so it's like if I'm holding it flat, if I'm coming here, spray at this angle all the way around the model, making sure to get good coverage as best you can, and that's going to leave a lot of these black darker recesses inside of it, so you can see that the underside is still pure black pretty much, and that's going to give you a lot of really good shadows, and this is like a really good base that we're going to be using for our ATRT since it is gray, right? So we're just going to go out and pick just a few of the details out. Look at my reference here. Yeah, we're just gonna pick up a few of the details here and do try to make it like this as close as we can, but it's gonna be darker, of course, because that's what I do. Alright, so first color we're gonna start with, we'll start with like some of these more we'll start with some brass colors. Let's go with our brassy brass, and we'll get these some of these little gubbins that are on here. It's the technical term. I accidentally left this in here after I painted something the other day. Actually, after I painted this. Okay, so get some paint on our brush and be hitting some of these areas. So we'll get this little thing. I'll probably go to a smaller brush. I don't know. I don't trust myself today. So let's get to our trusty teeny brush. And that way, like how I sprayed it, I think it's called a zenithal highlight. We don't have to wash it now at this point. It is, the whole thing is the color it's supposed to be. We can wash these other colors, and we probably will. But for the bulk of it, we don't have to. And making things easier for ourselves is the thing to do. Alright, so I've done those little guys. There's lots of little panels and stuff in here. I'm gonna check and see what I want to make sure gets color and what doesn't. Let's go. So I think that's it for the silvery colors. Oh no, there's not. Okay, there's more. Let's take these guys off. So I sprayed them. I also did the same thing with them and sprayed them gray. Didn't really necessarily do that zenithal highlight on them because they're so small, and it wouldn't make that much of a difference. So let's get these. In the little middle section here, we'll paint this brass color. And we'll look in here and see what else kind of we can pick out, and just kind of go with what you feel a flamethrower would look like on this In this case, this is the flamethrower. Let's get those. Here's the little blaster cannon. Okay, we got our. Right. Let's see if there's anything else in here that we. Yeah? Hold on, I'm being summoned. Let's paint this little back end bit there. This little back end bit here. And fix that. Alright, stand by 1 second. I'm gonna go run and see what I'm being yelled at for. Okay. And we go to our minigun. Should I paint this box that color? Yeah, we'll paint the box. Why not? Figure it's like a conductor of some sort. A heat sink. Or it's an ammo box. You know. It's Star Wars, it can be anything. Okay, so we got those guys. Now, there are some little white bits, so we're gonna get our matte white. And we'll just go get some little white on these little headlight bits on the front here, these little square bits. So okay, so we got some white on there. Also the tips of the antenna are white, so do your best there. You don't have to be crazy, but if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. It's okay if we hit it because we're going to be painting these black, so it's okay. Okay, there's also some panels in here, so I'm going to paint that one white, and we'll do some other colors on the other ones, like okay. So now we got our white details. Oops, make sure you get the tops here. The guns don't need any white on them. I think we'll be good there. Let's do some more little paneling here. Let's get our vermilion from Vallejo for our little red buttons. So we don't need to make sure you don't put a ton on your palette. So let's get some on your brush. Get a little red dot on there, so you have that. Also, what is a flamethrower without a red flame bucket on it? might be a little much, but it's my model. Try to preserve some of the lines that are in here. You can have some separation and maintain that detail. Okay, now you can either choose to ignore this part or go for it. Okay. So we don't want that to lay on that right now, so let's set it over there. Okay, we'll do that. And then let's get some, we're gonna take some of this gray, the medium sea gray, and we're gonna dull it down with a little bit of that white that we put down earlier to make a lighter gray. Ooh, I put way too much in. That way the gray that we sprayed it with can have a little variety in it. And we'll use this for a couple parts here. We're gonna get these little stripes here. We're gonna call these guys out with it. It still looks really white. Add a little bit more gray in there. Okay, and then we're gonna paint kind of a triangle here on the top of this panel. We're gonna make it a rectangle because I can't maintain that straightness here. So we'll just kind of clean this up. Okay, and then we'll add another, oops. We'll paint, since I fucked that up, let's take this whole thing here. Paint it with the gray. And then we'll take some darker gray and then close out the box, I guess. Maybe that'll work. Let's see if that works. See if we got enough. Oh boy. We done and made some mistakes here. I think we can wipe it off. Let's wipe it off. It's battle damage. Well, that was a mistake since that was still so wet. Let's see what we can do here. Let's see. We can. Maybe I'll make it like an H. So now that I've messed it up, I have to go around and find a way to save this. So we'll just do another like symbol type thing here. We'll just take these and pull it down like that. It's a different gray, so it might look cool when it dries, but it works. Let's clean clean up right here with the correct color white. Okay. So now that we've semi kind of avoided a disaster, let's move on to, oh, I gotta get some of these, I gotta get these buttons, the rest of these buttons. Let's get the ultramarine color, and we'll use it for the screen. Ooh, it's a little watery. So let's take that, let's get the blue, let's get, make sure we're in frame here, and just let that be there. And there's some like more switches up there. I think we'll just go with white for those. Just to kind of okay. So now we'll go to black for some of the other details. Ooh, what was that? These are drying all funky because of the heat here. I just messed up my fingers with some paint. Hold on, let me just wipe these off over here. Make sure it's dry in my hands so I don't get it all over the model, because that would suck. And let's go ahead and get these last little bits of detail in here. So there's this little box right here. We're gonna paint this black. And we're gonna paint the little straps on it that brass color, so don't worry about being super precise right now. Just make sure you get the box covered. Get the other one on the other side. Remember, the guy's gonna cover up a lot of the. Gonna cover up a lot of this stuff, so you can be a little bit different in there. You can be a little bit more strong. And I'm gonna paint these handlebars black. I don't think they're supposed to be black, but for me, they are going to be. Okay, and don't forget we have to get the one on our trooper also, because he will be glued onto this. Now we're gonna get these. You can see there's a little tube that hooks them into the thing. We'll keep that gray for now, at least, until we decide that we don't want it to be that color. Repoint my brush here, it's getting a little ragged. I've mostly painted clones for Star Wars on this channel. Is there any other faction that you guys want to see me paint? I mean, I painted a Princess Leia, but that video didn't do so good. Maybe people don't use her? I don't know what people use for the other factions because I only play this one. So if there's someone that you want to see me paint or some unit, definitely let me know. I can get my hands on it. I mean, as long as it's not boring. Like if you say Emperor Palpatine, like painting that isn't on my to-do list really, because he's mostly all black. And we paint Skaven here, and they're mostly black. So you can kind of extrapolate from those videos on how to paint him. Try not to hit the other one. Which I did, but it's okay. It's okay. Okay, so now we go to our weapons, and there's some like tubes and wires on these things, so let's paint those black. I'm probably going to be using the laser cannon for these guys, but you don't have to glue these in, especially like after you prime them and paint them. They should slide in pretty good and fit without you having to do anything. The primer should add enough thickness to it to where when you put it in there, the fit's going to be a lot tighter than it would be. And if it's not, then I am wrong. Actually, let's test it. Let's find out. So this goes in here. Oh yeah, like it just fits in there. So that's good. These all definitely need to wash though, because they don't have that treatment that the rest of the model does. So they look really flat right now with when they're just painted with the gray. Okay. And this should be super dry by now. And we're good. Let's paint the end of it black, just so it's like once we're done with this guy, we'll move to the trooper that we painted and make sure the handlebar is painted. So let's grab him and take this off here. Since the gun is black and we haven't sealed this model yet, I would suggest holding it by the gun since the color is really easy for us to duplicate right now with just a black. So don't worry about it coming off right now. Oops. It's okay, we can just wipe it off with our fingers right now. You can clean up any spots that you might have missed when you painted him earlier, especially on this hand. I don't know why I was worried about it, because it was going to be black anyway. Alright, so that's good. And did we get any off here? Yeah, see, we stripped a little bit of it off, but we just lightly hold the model and go over it with the black paint. Okay, so he's good. Now we'll get the seat with our German camo beige, World War II. You don't have to paint the seat because he's going to be stuck to it, and depending on what glue you use, it's not going to stick very well. If you want to, you can just like drill a little hole in here and like pin him in there. But I'm just going to get the little pads on the seat there. And now we can go to back to our brass. Now that we've had time to let that dry a little bit, we can go over the strappy bits here, just kind of lightly touch your brush to the model to get those pieces. Move our brush here. Okay, now for the final bit of it. Okay, I keep seeing it in the corner of my eye and it keeps bugging me, and I'm just gonna take the white paint really quick and get that spot that we had kind of got with the black paint earlier. Okay, so now we gotta go to like the squad markings. With the same green that we used, the uniform green, the same green that we used on him, on the trooper, we're going to use on the ATRT just to get some little details down. Let's get, should get this, hold on. So for this part, I'm gonna put it into this little clamp so I can hold it better. Okay, so we got like, it's like a weird triangle, so let's just start finding our shape here. And then go down, out a little bit, bring this point down. Okay, so then we just fill the rest of it with the green. So that one. You do the same thing on the other side, and they're not going to be perfectly symmetrical, but you can try your best. And like I said last time, it's just about having the majority of your hand touching a stable surface. So like this little holder, I have the most of my hand touching this thing to keep it stable and help it rest. as I paint these little things on here. So we got that. There's also one here, but you know, with what we did earlier, I don't know if this is a good idea, but let's add like a line. And we'll just kind of point the line out as we get down to do that. Cool. Okay, and then there's this little piece right here that has the green on it. So put that there. Same thing on this guy. And then a little bit on the feet. Have some form of another, just some shapes in there. These ones are not touched for some reason. But you don't have to, you can do whatever you want. These are markings for your dudes, so however you want to make them, just do it. Like, you don't have to follow, you don't have to follow me, I'm just giving you ideas here. I'm just showing you how I do things. Okay, so that gives us pretty much our ATRT. We will do a little bit of washing, and it's just going to be mostly on some of the parts that we painted. We're going to use the Agrax Earth Shade because we want to dull it down to match the rest of this model. So let's get this guy, because since we did do that like lighter shade here, so let's take this and we'll just kind of get that, get our little seat. We'll cover the brass bits here, same thing here, get some on there so we can get the recesses covered. Probably in here too, let's get in here, just to give some more variation to the thing. Same thing for these little stirrup guys, let's get the tops, the inside there. It's just another way of like, it's kind of like contrast paints, like you're just getting those colors in. Let's get right here because it's probably going to be pretty oily on the joints there. Okay, let's flip it around. Just do the same thing on this side. You can go heavier or lighter on the wash if you want to. You don't have to wash if you don't want to. I'm just trying to give it a little bit more character. Ooh, my hand is shaking. Get those little stirrups. Let's get this guy. And we'll get this guy. We'll also probably get in there. Same thing in here, where the oily bits would be. Okay. Then we're gonna get, oh wait, here, let's take, I'm gonna use black for those. Okay, so let's take the black wash now, non oil. And we're gonna get these little exhaust vents right here. If you want to drip some stuff out of there, you can. Same thing. Okay. Then let's get our guns. And we're gonna wash these guys since they didn't get that same treatment as the rest of the model, just because doing that would leave the whole bottom of the guns black, and that's not really what we're looking for. So just hit it with the wash. You don't have to go crazy on it, just enough to kind of sell the little details and stuff in there. Okay, and then definitely clip it. Definitely clip it for it to dry, because if you just lay it down, it's gonna kind of stick to your table or whatever. And you should probably have some better way of getting this than I have, or maybe just wash it already attached to these. That's probably the smarter play. So there goes our gun. Let's put that up here. Let's get our next one. Let's get our little clampy clamp. I'll do it before, because I'm smart. Get the wash on, get those details kind of exposed. Okay. One more. Get our flamethrower. Clip it. And if you didn't watch the last video, these are just little alligator clips with bamboo skewers that you can get off Amazon. It's really cheap. It's for like Gundam model building. But they're super handy when you need to spray stuff. Like little parts and stuff like that. So would recommend 100% if you're into model building. Okay, let's get that good. That's washed. Okay, so now we have had more than enough time for this green to dry, but that's what I said last time. So let's get our military sheet and put some on our palette here, aka the paper plate, and then we'll just kind of go over those greens to get those kind of dulled down. Don't want maybe that much in there because it's definitely gonna drip if you turn it. But we can get these little pieces there. Just make sure it's not running as you're doing it. You don't want drips all over your guy. If you do, just let it run. I would also suggest, like, if you want to make it like all more weathered and stuff, you can get like that brown and just let it kind of like drip, like draw little drip stains down your model with it, and then it'll make it look a lot more weathered. Also like dry brushing with like a metallic will beat it up a lot more too. So that's going to do it. Once this all dries, we will glue him on here, but let's see if we can set him on here for our little final turntable wee bit. And then there we have our ATRT. Let's get the little turntable. The guns are still drying, so I'm not gonna have the guns on him while. Ooh, it didn't break. Okay, good. Let's get this. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next time.